here's a way to make another 28 grand a year in your business by doing nothing but being creative. Let me show you exactly what we've just done, and any of you guys in the property business can do exactly the same by copying exactly, or ripping off, or replicating, or stealing exactly what I'm doing in my business, in the hotel business right now. Okay, so boom, we usually charge people a deposit, which is very normal in any hotel you stay in around the world, unless of course it's a shit hotel. You don't charge any deposit at all because nobody would come, nobody would stay, and it's a shit place or a shit hotel or shit Airbnb anyway. So we charge a deposit. It's £100. Now it's not a lot, because if someone sets a fire alarm off, it costs us that, including VAT, for the fire alarm response company to come out, evacuate everybody, make sure everybody's safe, put them all back in their rooms. Of course, if there's no fire, we don't want a fire. Fire's not good. And then, yeah, make sure the building's safe, reset the fire alarm, etc., etc., so everyone is all good. Now that costs us about £100 just for that alone. So if they cause any damage, if they steal the TV, if they refuse to check out and we have to call security, etc., etc., all of these things cost money. So the £100 barely covers the usual or the typical damage that a guest would do when staying in any of our hotels. Okay, now we've established that. All those people that think, why do you charge a deposit? Lots of damage, lots of hassle, lots of problems, lots of fire alarms going off in the middle of the night, lots of people smoking in their rooms, we get a lot, and people refusing to leave, like I just said, complications, etc., etc. So that £100 doesn't really go a long way if someone takes a TV, which they have, smart TV. That £100 doesn't really go a long way if people decide to take the kettle, the iron, the convection oven, or the microwave, or the electronic digital bathroom mirror, which happens, big pictures off the wall. Anyway, you understand, we charge a deposit because people cause damage. Okay, they're in party cities, it's party people that come and stay on weekends, workers, builders, professionals during the week, of course, but lots of problems, lots of challenges comes from the people that come to the city on the weekend. It's like Vegas in the UK, they go wild. Anyway, that's why we charge a deposit. So now we've established that. Instead of taking the £100 physically from their card and then refunding it when they check out within 7 to 14 days, which comes with a headache, which comes with lots of admin, which comes with lots of extra work and things like that, it generates complaints, it generates objections, because people say they're not coming, or people say they're refusing to pay the deposit, or people say that it's a scam, or people say that it's not right, or it's expensive, etc., etc. It's only really usually those people that have a problem with paying the deposit, which are the ones which may come with the wrong intentions, or they may know they're going to lose it because they may decide to have a party, they may decide to overcrowd the property, they may decide to refuse to check out, they may decide to smoke, etc. So it's usually the people who are problematic, the ones that refuse to pay the deposit or cause all the problems or say it's a scam, etc., etc., because they come with bad intentions. Anyway, now what we've done is we have removed that deposit completely because it's hassle, it's problematic, it's time consuming, it's a lot of work, there's a lot of abuse, it's affected a lot of people in my company's mentality in the reception because the attitude of the guests that refuse to pay a deposit. So anyway, we've removed it, but we've removed it in a particular way where we now make an extra 25 grand a year by doing something completely different, which just comes down to being creative. It just comes down to using your imagination. It just comes down to 23 years in business as an operator, as an investor, in the hotel business, in the property business. So you're naturally armed with these skills, these talent, these ideas, these opportunities. You see them. Okay. So what we've done is, on one building, we have multiple hotels. We have a hotel chain across more than one country. So international, you can call it. Now, what we've done on one building at the moment, which has 23 rooms, we've decided instead of taking a deposit, we don't take it anymore. We use it's kind of like a pre-authorization, but with a little twist. So we call it a deposit waiver. So this means they don't physically have to give us the £100 for them to then check out. It obviously comes off their card. It's a debit. It's not a block. Giving it to us, then they leave, and then about 14 days later, it appears back on their card, back in their bank. Now, we have now said to those guests, with new terms and conditions to reflect this, you don't need to physically give us the £100. We just take a small charge from your card that's non-refundable. We class this as a service charge for the facility. So instead of giving us the money, which if you want to give us £100, you still can, but no one said, yes, we want to give you £100, we just charge them £2.97 per stay, which is classed as a deposit waiver for the physical money they would give us, okay? So now it's not a pre-authorization. We don't have to have all the admin of refunding it when they check out. Also, it gives us the opportunity with the merchant that we're using that this £2.97 comes to us. It's now extra income, it's extra revenue, and it's a charge. It's a straight £2.97 charge. We call it a service charge, stroke deposit waiver. So we can still, as we have collected and hold the card details through this particular merchant that we use. So if there's any more damage, we do say to them, the £2.97 is the fee to facilitate this. So you don't physically give us the £100 deposit. However, if you cause damage, if you set the fire alarm off, if you smoke, if you refuse to leave, if you overcrowd, if you have extra people, etc., 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 which is all a breach of the terms and conditions, then the card we have on file with the merchant, which is secure, we can just hit a button, type in the amount with evidence of what you caused in damage effectively. If you took the TV, or if you refuse to leave, or you set the fire alarm off, it's £150 charge, then we can charge it from that card that's on file that has zero pre-authorization, but it's had a £2.97 physical charge that's non-refundable. Now that works for guests because guests are expecting to pay a deposit, but these guests, when they get there, they're not having the £100 blocked or held or charged from their card. Just £2.97 is being charged. Now, most of the people don't cause any damage when they go to hotels unless they're fucking wild. They're party people. They're people that come to this city and they treat it like a mini Vegas. They go out, they get drunk, they get smashed, they lose their fucking shoes, they lose their fucking keys, they come back, they push the door, they kick the door in, or they've lost their phone, or they break the lock, or when they leave, they take things with them that they want, that they just see on the wall because they think they're entitled to it because they fucking paid for a hotel room, or they're fucking criminals and they pay whatever for the hotel room. There's a £400 smart TV in the room. They're taking a TV, etc. It does happen. It happens a lot. It happens at scale because we've got lots of properties in many different cities. Anyway, lots of the guests don't cause any problems. So they don't ever hear from us again. They come, they complete their stay. They're very happy. They leave. They've just paid £2.97. And that's it. Now, what this does for us, 23 rooms, £2.97 per booking, per day. You know what that works out at? 25 grand a year. 25 grand a year. Extra money like that. Just created from nowhere. 25 bags. One building. 23 rooms. 25 bags. So that's basically saying every room generates at least £1,000 a year for free. Poof. From thin air. Money for nothing, you can call it. Where the guests are still getting value. The guests are still getting a good service. The guests don't physically have to give us the £100. They're just paying $2.97. Now, who quibbles with that? It's the price of a coffee. Okay? These are the opportunities that you guys have access to if you just think a little bit differently. If you just think a little bit creatively. If you just think like an entrepreneur, like a businessman, like a businesswoman. If you just think of how you can add value, create something that saves time, that saves money for your clients, and you can also make money at the same time. It makes the process, the system smoother and easier and faster and cleaner, and everyone is happier. Then there's money to be made everywhere. What did you learn from this? With one little twist, one little tweak, one little hack, one little bit of creative thinking that didn't take that long. It came from a problem. Lots and lots and lots and lots of problems with guests saying, oh, my deposit, how long is it taking? This is a scam. I don't want to pay it. Oh, it's so much. I've never paid a deposit for in my life. Why are you charging this? You should be charging a deposit. I don't want to wait. Why should I have to wait 7 days or 5 days or 3 days or 14 days? Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, this opportunity came from listening to guests' complaints and problems. Now, our guests are happier. The check-in is a lot quicker. It's smoother. It's a tiny little charge that they pay. Instead of physically giving us £100 and waiting up to 14 days for it to come back, it makes us 25 grand extra a year. What would you do? Just imagine if out of nowhere, with one building, we've got multiple buildings, one building, you just make an extra 25 grand like that. If you like what you hear, if you want to hear more, subscribe to this. If you're listening on the iTunes, or if you're listening to the audio, the podcast, subscribe to this podcast. This is what we give away all the time in every episode. Nothing but value. We're not asking for anything in return. There's nothing for sale. If you're watching this, subscribe to the channel. Share this channel, or share this audio, or share this post with anybody else who you think will get value. Boom.